Association. I'm also a Mount Vernon Public Library trustee. The reason that we're here tonight is to present the Mount Vernon Public Library's budget. In addition, we were lucky enough to have the Mount Vernon City School District here. Superintendent Hamilton is here, and they will be presenting their budget also. So without further ado, I want to introduce Evania Thompson, who is our director of the Mount Vernon Public Library, Jose Avello, who is our treasurer of the Mount Vernon Public Library, David Cambillo, our tech, and our youth in the background who will be live streaming on the Mount Vernon Public Library's website.
Good job.
Okay?
Good evening to everyone, and thank you for coming out. So what we're going to do is talk about the facts and the figures about the library's budget proposal for 2019-2020. We hope to take questions at the end, so if you hold your questions to the end of the presentation, we would appreciate it. David? Okay, the library is very busy. We have 14,067 patrons attending 620 children's programs, as children and adults, in 2018. 7,486 ebooks were borrowed through Overdrive, and we've added to our collection 7,909 new books. I would also go on to say that in 2018 we did some aggressive weeding as well of old and really unused materials, books that haven't been checked out in 10 years or so. So even though we have all these new books added, we've also removed a lot of old material. So the collection is pretty much about the same size it was last year. Our library card holders have increased substantially. In 2018, it was 32,917, and that is an increase of 3,757 from 2017. And the reason for that increase is last summer, this was an initiative of our board president. We really went to the school when the students registered for school. We went there and we signed up children for library cards. So that was a substantial amount for the increase. And so we have more children coming into the library, more children have library cards than ever before. So this is just little highlights on some of our programming. As I mentioned, we've expanded our e-materials, our e-books. We've developed increased access to information resources, including novelists for avid readers, and Canopy streaming service for online movies and documentaries. We've continued with FreeGal, which is very popular. It's a large downloadable database of songs that users can keep. And I believe you can download, I think, 5 songs at a time each session. We continue with the RB Recorded Books, which are digital audiobooks and RB Digital Magazine Value Collection. And our Let's Build Robots initiative that we raised the money for in 2017, we executed that in 2018. It was an innovative STEM team program. We had 11 classes held with 130 tweens served. We had a basic, intermediate, and advanced classes. All the children got to keep the robots, and actually their teacher was our tech here, David Cambillo. And we got a lot of good feedback. We still have a little money left from that little over 6,000 that we raised. We have about 1,000 left. So we're thinking about doing one more class this year in 2019. We've had noted author visits, discussions, and book signings. We have the very popular WARP tax preparation services. Health navigators, where people can come in, speak to a navigator, and get help in trying to figure out what to do with their health care plan, with Medicare, just how to structure their health care plan so that it fits them. And we've added, this is very new and very popular, Creative Bug, which is a tutorial system for arts and crafts, something like lynda.com, but for arts and crafts, and that is new and it's proved to be quite popular. Other highlights, through community support, we remain the Central Library of Westchester County. That was a fight that we had in 2017. We won that fight at the end of 2017, but then the monies were taken away from us, even though we kept the status. And we fought to get that money back, and we have received a funding to replace that book fund from the Westchester County legislators for $50,000, which is more than what they took away from us, which was $30,000. So we're purchasing the required books that the state wants us to have when you're in the central library, which is adult nonfiction, which is research and reference materials, so that anyone who doesn't have access to a computer or to books can come in and do serious research. We've also increased purchase of new books for children, teens, and adults. We have a professional chess training for children, which has become very popular, and weekly blockbuster movie viewings for everyone, including the senior citizens. And then we also have Read Down Your Fines, which is both for children and for adults who cannot afford to pay fines that they have made racked up on their materials. Come and you read, you document the reading, the fines go down. So it encourages reading literacy. Other highlights: Defensive Driver's Course in partnership with Mr. Frank Davidson of Prudential Insurance Corporation, and you know that lowers, when you take that defensive driver's course, that lowers your fee. Excuse me, your insurance. Your assistance program in partnership with the Mount Vernon Post Office, and I don't know how many of you have had to go get your passport, but I know when my son was 10, I went to the Mount Vernon Post Office, and his father and I were there trying to find some place to write, trying to, you know, to get his application so that he could leave the country with me. Here, they come to the library, they have a place to sit, they can sit there with their family, there's somebody from the post office there to help them. It's a much more relaxed setting. The Mount Vernon Public Library to date has received $50,000 for door replacement and foyer upgrades, and that was through the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, and that is still ongoing. That was a project that we had last year. It's still ongoing, and we hope to complete that as soon as possible. This year, we received, end of 2018, we received the New York State Construction Grant that, in addition to a number of items, including the furnace, to help to upgrade the furnace, included $42,000 to allow us to purchase a media lending kiosk available 24 hours a day to library patrons. Now, we have just ordered that. We hope it's custom made by a veteran organization, I believe in Illinois, custom made for us. We hope to be getting that into the library maybe mid-July, beginning July, mid-July. But first, we intend, because it's one of the first of this type, to show it at the American Library Association, to show that Mount Vernon is doing things. We're on the cutting edge. And the media would be, of course, for audiobooks, CDs, DVDs, because for adults, not for children, for adults, that is a substantial part of the materials that circulate in our library.
And it'll be outside the library.
Yeah, they can you can access it so with the library card and get the materials out. Okay, so let us move on to the proposed budget 2019-2020. As you see, the most furthest column is the current budget, and then the proposed budget for 2019-2020. We start with expenses, our salaries, professional, non-professional, administrative maintenance, and we are looking at a slight decrease in the proposed budget as opposed to the current budget. And that slight decrease has to do with, there's a few positions that we have not filled as yet. For example, the assistant director position hasn't been filled as yet, but we anticipate that will happen in the next year. Benefits, state retirement benefits, Social Security, workers' compensation, unemployment insurance, MT, tax, hospital, and dental insurance. And in the proposed budget, you see that it's gone down slightly, for example, for state retirement and for hospital and dental, but, we're expecting Social Security to go up a little bit and.
Workers' comp.
Yes, workers' comp, thank you. So, you know, these are part of doing business, that every business has to handle. Okay, collection development, books, audio visuals, periodicals. And as you see, for 2019, we're budgeting pretty much the same amount as we did for last year, for the current budget. Library operations, supplies, computer equipment expense, computer software and supplies, telephone and telecommunications, our WLS membership, postage, office expense. That is really not growing that much. I see that the WLS membership has gone up slightly. And of course, all the 38 libraries in Westchester County are members of WLS. And what WLS does is, they are the sort of the system that supports all the 38 member libraries, and they run certain things like the websites for all the various 38 member libraries, the software, we just changed from Cersei to Evergreen with the checkout software, so that all 38 member libraries talk to each other. Library operations continued, professional meetings remains the same, professional training and development going down a little bit, conferences down a little bit, publicity and printing is up, which reflects, cost of living increases and so forth. Election expense is up a little bit, furniture, just a little. Equipment maintenance is going down a little bit, and then that's because we've been doing a lot of work trying to upgrade everything, and that's beginning to pay off. Miscellaneous expenses, up just a little. Memberships, the same. Professional fees, actually down a little. So that's for total library operations, and then library programs, 50,000, which is about right, because, for example, we have performers who come in, and their cost goes up and so forth. And then new and cutting edge technology, it was 75,000 in the current budget, 50,000 in proposed. We've been getting a number of grants, and we're fundraising, so we're trying to cut how much we have to get from the taxpayers in that regard. Okay, so that brings us to building operations. Electricity, going down a little. Fuel, which always goes up no matter what happens. Custodial supplies, just up slightly. Building repairs remains the same. Security guard services, up slightly. And I think that reflects the law, the minimum wage law that is in place. Service contracts, up a little. And then miscellaneous is down a little. So our total building operations is just slightly higher than what the current budget is, not by much. And we have insurance remains the same, grant expenses remains, actually it's gone down a little, and the marketing remains the same. Okay, so the library does get a little passive income, which is fines, Reader Digest, endowment, etc. And you can see the numbers. We expect a little increase in that. You'll see we're not expecting to transfer anything from the reserve. So the amount to be raised that we're hoping to be raised by the tax levy, we're asking the citizens, the taxpayers, to pay a 2%, homeowners to pay a 2% increase. Which is very small compared to all the other 38 member libraries. I know New Rochelle asked for 4%, and maybe 4.5%, if I'm remembering it correctly. So we're asking for 2% and so that will raise $93,708 more than what we had in the current budget. The libraries, again, I'm gonna just repeat this, the library is asking school district residents to approve $4,779,094 in community-based funding. And this just kinda is a pie chart to just show you where everything goes. The majority of our expenses, of course, the salaries, and then benefits, and then library operations. I think our building operations may be a tad bit higher than most, but we have a very old and very historic Carnegie Library building. We are the only Carnegie Library building that's still functioning as a library in the Hudson Valley. So, of course, you see the library programs, new technology, and then collection development. So we have a commitment, and we hope the public has a commitment to library programs and services. Again, we are asking school district residents to approve $4,779,094 in community-based funding, and that tax levy increase is $93,708 and represents a 2% increase in what we asked for last year. So, your vote counts. Please come out and vote. And not just vote, come see the library, you know, come in. If you don't have a library card, get one, you know? And you will find that we are willing to serve you, and if you don't see what you want, you can ask, and we will do our best to get it for you. Okay. In the Grace Green Baker Community Room. And we have absentee ballots available at the periodicals desk, and the proposition will pass with a simple majority of those who vote. And if you have further questions, you can call me. It's my phone number there. And at this point, I will take questions, if any, and Mr. Bello is here to also answer questions.
I have a question. Can you please speak about the capital campaign, the fundraising that you're doing regarding the Teen Tech Lab?
Yes. One of the things that we've been trying to do is to, as I said, raise money so that we don't really have to burden the taxpayer. We've been working with a steering committee that is comprised of the Westchester County Association, which is interested in expanding broadband throughout all of Westchester. They believe that broadband, and we believe with them, will drive the future in terms of getting jobs, making jobs, and even people applying, putting their applications for jobs. And that includes having access to computers, having access to Wi-Fi. And just to throw in as an aside, the Mount Vernon Public Library has the fastest broadband of any library in Westchester County because we have E-rate. And that E-rate, I will say, was an initiative that was proposed and instigated actually prior to me arriving by the board president. And that's one reason why Westchester County Association wants to make Mount Vernon Public Library a model for bridging the digital divide for other libraries throughout the country. So now getting back to the fundraising, how do we make it a model? We're trying to make a state-of-the-art teen lab. Anyone who's ever heard me speak at the City Hall for the
CDBG.
Thank you, CDBG grants will know that our teens are a very underserved community. Very, very underserved. And so we think we can address that by putting a state-of-the-art teen lab, because the adults, if you ever used our library, the adults really don't like the teens, young adults in their section. They have different interests, they make different noise, they have different needs. We have a teen section, but it really needs to be upgraded. We need software, we need computers, we need electrical infrastructure. What we want to have is also podcasting rooms. We want to have couches, if possible, for the students to lounge and use their laptops. We wanna have laptops for them to, check out if they don't have any, and to use right there. We want also a teaching area where, they can, get taught on, visual, literacy in terms of statistics and visual information. Because it's not quite, it's not quite the way it used to be in terms of just books. You have to be able to look at visual, diagrams and things and be able to pull the information out of that. We also want a podcast room. We want them to be able to be creative and to really prepare themselves for the future and not be left behind. So that's what the fundraising is for. Now, in addition to Westchester County Association, we have some members who are from Sterling Bank. We have a trustee who is with the and so now we're at the stage where we're really trying to raise, we did our little soft campaign with the Give Gab, if you follow what was going on with the library. Now we're really doing a hard campaign for small donors. In addition, Westchester County Association at some point, probably in the summer, we haven't set a date, we're setting up a campaign for the big donors, okay? And we've also, if you came to the open house, you would have seen the handout that we gave for people who donate. The patron level, the red level, the silver level, gold level. The level that wasn't on that card, but will be on the next card, is the Andrew Carnegie level, where you give $50,000 or more. Okay, so you'll be in good company with Andrew Carnegie. Yes, so, and then also we're doing our part. I've written a grant, and we hope that we're expecting it will come through at the end of this year to help also with the changes in the teen lab from the New York State Construction Authority. So all this is coming together, and we really wanna have a state-of-the-art, wonderful place for learning and creativity and technology for our teens, and we're trying not to do it on the backs of the taxpayers. I'm sorry, it took a long time to answer your question.
No, you did a very good job, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, I mean, it's not as much of a question as it is a comment. The library has always been an anchor organization in Mount Vernon. And when I say anchor organization, it's a central organization that serves as an anchor for so many here in the community. It's been a safe haven for our young people. And while people might say, well, why is that? Well, we've lost a lot of our other youth resources, and the library has definitely taken up the slack. So thank you for the emphasis that you've put on, and the board for the emphasis that you've really put on our young people. I'm sitting here with my 7th grade friend, and every day after school we went to the library, and we went into the reserve room, and we had to read books for school and things of that nature, and those things still go on. So we have to make sure that we are supportive of the library and the work that they're doing, because our young people need it, our seniors are using it, people are using it for job search. I don't think people really understand the extent that the library is a hub of activity in any community, and it's an asset that we have to support and invest in. So thank you for that work. And definitely there's the Regional Economic Development Council grant just came out. It's due July 26th, so I would dig into that and see if there's monies that you can be, that can be gotten for the library. And then also New York State has the CCIP, and that's probably where you got some of the DASNY money, which is capital money. So I would definitely look into that again, because each year they're kind of doing that, and so looking at it again to see if we can get some additional funding for capital improvements. As you said, it's an older building, and capital is one of your biggest challenges.
Yeah. The regional economic development, is that state or federal?
State.
State, okay.
I have a quick question. What is the current reserve?
Right now, we have a current reserve of $349,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, I have a few things that I wanted to add that, sometimes you really can't get out of, the budget, okay? And a lot of what we have been doing is trying to maintain the library's building itself. And, what we have been doing, we replaced the elevator that was completely antiquated. And, our board president would be here tonight, but he had a previous engagement. So I'm the vice president of the board, and that's why I'm here presenting tonight with the rest of our staff. So we've been doing a lot of great things. We put some LED lighting on the exterior of the building. Not only is that good for our patrons, it's good for the neighbors around the building there. It used to be a very dark area, now it's lit up, you know. It looks really good. We're replacing doors in the library that will be, like card entry doors, you know, keyless entry. We did the elevator. We had a serious situation with the roof. Everybody talks about the roof of the library. We were very lucky to have somebody on staff who knows the library, the building itself for many years, that we were actually able to replace the roof at no cost to the taxpayers because there was warranty on the roof. We still have some issues with it, but they are coming back, and because there's a warranty, you have to wait for the contractor that GE tells you to use. They've been coming back, and we're repairing that on a regular basis. The Buildings and Grounds Committee meets actually once a week to make sure that, you know, we're addressing all the concerns within the library structure. I can tell you that one of the best things about the Mount Vernon Public Library is that we are also employing our local youth. So during the summer programs, we're employing them through the Youth Bureau, we're employing them directly. You know, if they come and they want to apply for a job, they're more than welcome to. And we're investing in our community, you know, and we can't ask you to invest in us if we don't invest in you. So without further ado, if there's any other questions? Any other questions?